We're here at Joanne Frontiero's house. One of the legends of women's rowing. Way back when, 20 years ago, Joanne went to the Fiesta committee and asked for permission to row. So Joanne invited Good Morning Gloucester here today to share her story, and we thank you, Joanne. And she has some of her crew members here. Why don't you introduce yourself, ladies?
Nikki Parisi,
Joanne Frontiero,
Leanne Palazola,
Amanda Mohan.
So, 20-year anniversary, Joanne. This was a real big race for you yesterday. You have two boats. You have a junior crew with your granddaughter, and you have your senior crew, audacious. That is, what do you have? You hold the most records for women rowing, right? 5 years in a row straight?
No, we hold the record for more wins than any crew, men's or ladies.
Oh, you
Eight.
go, girl.
Eight.
Look at that.
Seven.
See, no one knew that.
Seven.
There's an exclusive right there.
7 wins.
7 wins. So there's never been in the history of the Fiesta, men or women, has there been a 7-win boat.
Right. And there's
Wow.
never been in the history, other than affirmative action, of 5 in a row, men's or women's.
Oh, so you hold both titles. Kudos to the woman.
Yeah.
So talking about the women, this is the 20th anniversary of the Seine boat races for women participating. Joanne, I would love for you to share with Good Morning Gloucester the history of how this all came about, because it wasn't an easy, I don't want to say a fight, it was a change. It was really the Seine boat races, the greasy pole, for generations has been a man's sport. And dory racing in Gloucester is a very popular thing, especially 20 years ago. You had a lot of women out there rowing, and this all came from that sport of dory racing, correct?
Right. The women that rowed dories were the women that formed the first crew that rowed in the Fiesta.
Okay. Explain to me how this all came about into Good Morning Gloucester to our viewers. Whose idea was it to approach the committee? What year was it?
Okay, it first started actually with Amby Scola, and like I said,
That's okay. That's Roxy in the background, ladies and
let me get her.
That's all right. Amanda, you can go.
Yeah.
Go let her in.
Let her in. Amby Scola was the one who originally started. He had the 3 boats, and we all met at Coconuts, and he wanted to have a race. We had it the week after Fiesta for the 4th of July. And we all put a few of the women's dory rowers that knew how to row on each boat, and then filled the rest of the seats with other girls who just wanted to row. So we ended up having a race. It was a great, fun time. We wanted to be able to do it in the Fiesta afterwards. And if I'm not mistaken, the next year we weren't allowed. They said no. So.
And that was a no because of insurance reasons?
They said it was because we were willing to do it the week after Fiesta to keep it going, but they said insurance purposes they didn't want to leave the boats in that long and stuff like that. They only had like a certain 2-week policy or something to keep the boats in there.
Okay.
So we eventually went before the committee to go into the Fiesta races, and that was Doreen Scola and I went before the committee. Before that, we had petitions passed around the city to ask people if they would support us to have a women's race, and we had plenty of petitions, all signed.
With
I'm
the
sorry,
signatures right there.
yeah. And we also had my dory partner at the time was Astrid F. Klinterberg, and she was trained. She was going to school to be a lawyer, and she actually had a lawyer friend that was a woman that said that she would support us if we needed legal counsel because it was discriminatory. So we really didn't want to go that route because all of us had brothers and everything, but the idea of it was out there, I think helped us. So they let us go before the committee, and Doreen and I went and said that we wanted to put women's crew in, and they said, fine, you can do it, but you have to row against the men. So we said, okay.
They took the challenge.
They took the challenge, yep. So we put the best rowers that we could find from dory rowing in the boat, and we rowed against the men. We made a very good race of it. A couple of the men's crews
Saw us practicing and dropped out. They didn't want to be the crew that got beat by the women.
right.
Ah.
So we had to draw for heats just like the men did, and we got in a 3-boat heat against 2 other men's crews. We rowed out, we stayed together, we did the whole race, we handled the boat, And when we came in, I have to give kudos to the men. They all stood up and clapped for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the men really have been wonderful from what I can see.
Most have. There's a few that, there was a quote. I'm going to have to say it.
Still, 20 years later, there was a quote.
Yeah. That we should stay home and cook the sauce. The zugo and the pasta. That's where we belonged in the kitchen.
No, we can multitask. We can cook the sauce and we can roast.
You know what? It's on the stove right now.
So then the next year, so you rode so the second year that you rode against the men, and then what happened after that? Then you were allowed to have an all women's race?
Yes, the next year they allowed an all women's race.
And how many boats? You had 3 crews.
3 crews. That's the limit that we could have.
Okay.
1 race, 3, and we got our own night. We got Fridays.
We got Fridays to be a part of Fiesta, which is what we really wanted. It wasn't just to row the same boats; it was to be part of that tradition.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. So 20 years ago, this Fiesta. This is our anniversary. 20 years ago that all happened. So for 20 years, Friday night of Fiesta is the women's show.
Correct.
It's the women's race.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So Joanne, let's talk about the different crews that have rowed and the history that has been made with these women crews. I know we've highlighted them here on Good Morning Gloucester, but 20 years ago, Good Morning Gloucester wasn't around. Can you just go back in history with some of these crews and what were their results? What was the
first
support?
crew that we had together was called Affirmative Action, and then there were 2 other boats that rowed against us. We kind of had a monopoly at that time. Our crew was just so much better because we had experienced rowers on, and we used to win by 10, 12 boat lengths. So we did that for 5 years, and we never lost a race, but it was getting to the point where we didn't feel that it was a race that people wanted to see anymore, because they said you're probably going to win anyway.
Yeah.
We were just, our one boat was much better than the other girls because they hadn't rowed before. So I decided to split my crew up and take some of the girls from that boat with me, and we formed what we called an alliance with another crew, and that's when you came, right? That's when she came.
What year was that? When did you start rowing, Nikki?
2001.
I think so.
I think it was 2001.
2001.
So we had alliance, and we lost.
We got our ass kicked for years.
And then we had another crew called Revamped, because we tried to, but it was competitive at least then. It wasn't like one boat was, the whole show. It got competitive. It made it more fun. It made it what it should be, a competitive race. So we had Revamped for a little bit, and then after that, I formed Audacious, right?
Yep.
And that's when we started on Audacious, who has 7 wins, which is the most wins of any crew, men's or ladies.
So Audacious holds a record that no crew, now remember people, this was mainly a man's sport.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no male crew in the history of St. Peter's Fiesta that holds the record that Audacious does.
Right. And then it has to be said, though, the men's field was always more competitive than the women's, because the men grew up with rowing. They rowed forever. So it is a more competitive field.
Absolutely.
But now the women's field, I think, is
we're
there.
20 years into
yeah,
it
we're
now.
20 years into it, and I think we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a period of time during when we first separated that the races went back and forth. It wasn't just 4 in a row for one team, or it was 2 years, and then a team would come in and knock us off, and then they would reign for 2 years, and then we would come back and knock them off. So it was a good competitive era where it kept going back and forth.
And that's what makes a race
Sort of like it is
exciting.
now.
That's what makes it exciting.
It's
it
what
really
it's
does.
become now. It's the same sort of thing, and it's been awesome.
We didn't win. Audacious didn't win until 2006. So we went from 2001 to 2006 without a win.
Yeah.
But the other, like I said, the other crews, it was going back and forth. We were always in there.
Right.
They were always good races. We'd get second. We might have gotten third, but it was
I only
very
got third
competitive.
once, and that was the year I rode with my dad.
I was on that crew.
Yeah, I was
Why
too.
don't you, speaking of your father and his deep roots with Fiesta, why don't you just talk a little bit of how he's the one that really drew you into rowing, right?
Well, yeah,
Your dad?
I grew up watching him.
Yeah.
Down
What,
the-
and what boat
down-
was, what did he row? Do you remember what, he was a champ, I mean, I know he was a champ,
He
but
was Raging Bulls,
Raging Bulls.
Allied Forces.
With my brother.
Back in the day, it was Arizona Sleepers. I remember watching him with the Arizona Linquata from the playground, Fort Playground Beach, watching him
Mhm.
and saying, I'm going to do that someday. And having people laugh at me and say, no, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah. So, off camera, just for our viewers, just to know where we're going next, we were talking about a few years back, there were no junior boy crews. And it was really, it was a shame. There was a whole year of Fiesta that there were no junior races. And you had a good point. You brought up a good point of why you thought that was. Why don't you share that with our viewers?
Well, I thought there were so many Fiesta fathers, so to speak, that had daughters. And the sons weren't being born, I guess, so to speak. And I think maybe that's why the junior boys got lost, and the junior girls kind of got more popular. I think there was I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
it's an explosion in daughters.
Right.
And you know, Fiesta's family, it's tradition, and rowing is too. And what father doesn't want to see their kid, boy or girl, be a part of
Right.
that?
Right.
Especially if they've grown up with it.
Exactly, exactly. I know personally, you know, my cousins rode, my father rode. I mean, like you said, it goes back generations. And when Joanne put this junior crew together for her granddaughter, and my daughter had an opportunity to get on a boat, you know, for our family, we never even, like you said, your dad said one day, I'm going to have them row, and people looked at him like, no way, it's a man's sport. In our family, you know, so he had that vision, he had that dream that he would love to see you in that boat. In our family, I can tell you, I never dreamed that my daughter would be racing for Fiesta. And to have her do it is, every time I'm going to cry now, because when I think of it,
I know.
Exactly.
I seriously get emotional. I really, really do.
Don't stop because
I know, we'll all
Not
cry.
crying in same
But
boat.
it really, what the women's races has done, I mean, to see these girls, I'm down there every morning filming you guys, and just to see that the hard work that goes into it, and think back generations of who rode growing up, standing on Pavilion Beach, all those Fiesta Sundays, watching all those men, and to see my kid out there, you know, I remember the first year Joe Balbo was the scuttler on the boat, and I remember saying, Joe, please bring my baby back to the beach, you know. But let's just backtrack just a little bit. So here we have the 20 years. Joanne, 4 years ago, you wanted to develop the program a little bit more. Wasn't there only 2 junior girl boats for a couple of years, Rowan?
Well,
There was Donna Del Mare.
the junior girls also that first year had to row against the junior boys.
Oh, they did.
They
oh,
did.
I think my cousin Larry. Yes, my cousin
Yes.
Larry's daughter was on that boat, that female boat. We were talking about it on the beach last night.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So they had to fight the fight too
Yeah.
They
against
all
the
right.
boys.
We fought little by little every year for something more. We didn't have eliminations before, so we were always limited to 3 boats.
Okay.
So we fought.
Have you
so that,
always had 3 boats? For thinking back 20 years, have you always had 3 senior, 3 junior boats?
No.
No. Sometimes it's been down to 2.
Oh, you mean no? It's been more now. It started out we had 3 senior boats,
Yeah.
but we wanted to. I mean, there were so many women that wanted to row. They wanted to put more boats in. So we fought until eventually they allowed us to have an elimination race
Okay, so there was an elimination
Right.
race for the senior women.
for the senior women.
What about juniors?
No, we
Never.
still only allowed
Only
3.
3. Okay, I just wanted to clarify
There's
that.
time
okay.
restraints because there's only so many days in the week that you can do things. And if you start a race at 4:45 and then you do juniors, and it gets more difficult. So there's time restraints, and because the men and boys always had it before us, they come first.
Okay.
So we always had to try to get something in.
So for 20 years, we've had senior women and junior crews row. And
No,
No.
the very first year you said
Junior girls did not come until 2002.
Okay. All right. So it was the seniors first, juniors came in 2002.
But in that year, to fight to get them into the race, they had to row against the boys.
Just as you had done
Correct.
previously.
Years before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Joanne, let's talk about, are you the only coach that has actually coached two crews at the same time, women's and seniors? Because you're jumping off one boat, jumping on another boat. Is there any other coaches that have done
I'm not sure if Julie did it. Did Julie do
Julie Gary?
it? She wasn't coaching in the seniors. She rode on seniors but coached juniors, right?
Yes.
I think
And
that's
same with Vanessa Prince.
And Vanessa Prince.
Vanessa Prince, too.
Yeah, Vanessa Prince does it. She rows on a senior crew and then coached a junior crew. Who else? Angela Morrissey? I think she might have done it in the past. Rachel
starting.
Cecilio. She
Oh,
started
yeah,
this year.
she started
She's the one
this
that
year. That
started
was-
the new girls that came in tonight. This year.
Insane. That was, the
Yes.
name was Insane. They did
Yeah.
a great job. They did a great job.
They did.
So it's really important, the women that are rowing on these senior crews to start getting in some junior crews, like you said,
Absolutely.
because
We don't want the
maybe
tradition to die.
It's
No,
our future.
you fought too
We're
hard.
not
as
getting
the
any
We
future.
younger.
fought to,
Right.
that's it.
Yeah.
The fight.
Nikki says she's not getting any younger. So, Joanne, talk about your decision to put a crew in for your granddaughter, because talk about Fiesta, family, faith, fun, tradition,
Okay.
passing things down. I don't know of another story that could be more touching than the history of... Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, you fought for the women to get into the race. You know, the men made the necessary, took the necessary steps to get you guys in. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
You proved yourself and you did it. You know, now you have the junior girls coming in. They do the same thing a few years later, and your granddaughter's getting older, and now she's rowing age.
Yeah.
And let's talk
For
about
me,
that.
it started out way back when my brother was rowing. I would be his film crew. I would go out and film them, and they would use the film for like training purposes to get better and stuff. And then when they won, they gave me a trophy and a jacket that had my name on it, said Joanne Film Crew. All right?
I want a film crew shirt.
There's a jacket.
I'm
there's a film.
kidding.
So for me, that just gave me the fire to want to row. And then I started in dories, and you know, I rowed with Doreen my first year in dories. And then from there, we decided we wanted to go to same boats, and we started the same boat crew. And then I actually rowed with my daughter Sherry one year, which
I
was
didn't know that.
a treat. Yes, and
Yeah.
we won.
Well, that was your brother coached that year, right?
Did he coach that year?
I have that photo. It's you and Sherry and Tony and my father and myself all on that same boat.
Oh wow!
Was
So-
your father the scuttler? So your father scuttled.
We
Your
didn't win
brother.
that year.
We didn't win
No,
that year.
that was a different year.
Oh, that was a different.
That
But we
was
were
a
all
different-
on that
See,
boat
these
together.
ladies have
Sherry
rowed
was
for
with us
20
twice.
years.
Sherry
They have
was with- yes,
so
that's
much,
right.
so many stories. so
Sherry
many
was with
crews.
us twice, but she was with me one year where we won. So I won
Okay.
with my daughter. Then, you know, rowing years later and stuff, the opportunity came up. My granddaughter wanted to row. And at the time, there was already 3 junior crews. They wouldn't allow any more in. So I had to wait a year, but I put my name on the list that if an opening came, I wanted to be able to put a crew in for juniors. So the next year, Donna Del Mare, no, they stayed. One of the other crews moved up. So there was an opening, grabbed it, put our crew together, and we went into juniors. And we made a really good showing that year. Donna Del Mare won, but we came in second.
And it was a close
It
race.
was a good race.
That was a good race.
Yep.
That was, so the crew you put together was extraordinary, which everybody on Good Morning Gloucester knows. My daughter Amanda sitting
Right.
on the left was part of that crew. Is a member of that crew. I shouldn't say was.
Yes. Yeah.
So, how was it that first year when you actually had your granddaughter in the boat?
Awesome. She loves it. Oh God, I can't stand talking like that. But tradition, my brother rowed lead oar, turning side. I rowed lead oar, turning side. She rode lead oar, turning side. So her watching me, she always said she wanted to row. She loved it. Got her out in the dory when she was really young a few times, taught her in the dory. And then she decided she wanted to put this crew in, asked a lot of her friends, your daughter included, and we went in, and it was great. It was really a great feeling to know that there's a sport around where a grandmother and a granddaughter can be on the same team.
It absolutely blows my mind every
Yeah.
time I see you guys out there. I'm just, on the beach taking your pictures, even in the morning. Joanne knows I'm down there with the camera
Every
filming
morning.
all the kids,
And
and
very
I'm
much
forever like,
appreciated.
Joanne, move over so I can get a better picture.
This is good light.
Yeah, this is good light. I'm always saying this is good light. That's true. Amanda, why don't you talk about that first year getting on the boat and what Audacious did for your crew? Why don't you speak for the junior boat Extraordinary in your sister crew Audacious?
Yeah, Audacious, they were so good to us. They were like cheering us on. They helped us with the oars and what to do. So if it wasn't for them, I would have no idea what to do at all.
They came down to your practices.
Yeah, they came to our practices. They were so
Nikki,
supportive.
did you?
Yeah,
row with
Nikki,
us
you
one
jumped
time?
in the seat.
She
I jumped
jumped
in
in
the
the
seat.
seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, she jumped in
I
the
think
seat
the
with
very
us.
first time we went out, Nikki, I think you were actually rowing because we were afraid will the
Yep.
girls be able to
Yeah.
pull
And
the
she
boat.
offered every year if we needed help. So.
We all got very intimidated because she was really strong, like stronger than all of us.
Yeah.
I could also be your mother, honey. I'm intimidated by that.
No, so over the years, just having these past 4 years, I know for Extraordinary, having Audacious, cheering them on the beach both ways. I got a great picture yesterday. Audacious, you guys were ready to start your race, and they all went down to the water's edge to cheer you guys on, and I have all their backs looking out at you, cheering you on, and I haven't posted those yet because we want to let the champs have their limelight because they deserve it. Yesterday was a tough race for all of us,
Yeah.
Extraordinary and Audacious. We wanted that win. You girls all fought really hard, and sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, and it wasn't our day yesterday. That's
No,
for
it
sure.
wasn't.
It really wasn't.
Not Team Red.
It was not a Team
Not
Red
Team
day.
Red,
It
no.
wasn't. But I think we're all in agreement that having kids participate and women jumping in. There was a crew that was all my age. There were women out there.
That was us.
No, but you guys, but when I say a new crew, I'm talking like what are they, like 2 years in? You guys have been rowing 10 years. You have experience. Like I can't even imagine training and jumping it. I've always wanted to, but I kudos to those crews that came in these last couple of years, in their 40s.
Well, any
And rowing.
woman that decides they want to row a same boat,
Yeah.
it for them, that desire or that agony, both.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to everybody.
Yeah.
Any woman who picks up an oar.
Why don't you explain to people? I don't really think people understand the oars themselves.
Way more than these girls.
That junior crew in
Yes.
Seine, absolutely, those oars weigh
Oh,
more than some of those
They
kids on
by
that
did
boat.
far.
great yesterday. Those girls are mostly 8th graders, 13,
Yes.
14 years old.
They did a
And they did a great
fabulous job.
Yep.
Fabulous job.
Yeah.
It was
And
unbelievable.
they
They were with us
They
until the
row
Dixie
a
Bowl.
men's race.
Yes.
They row a men's boat.
With
and
men's
they
equipment.
row
Same
a
equipment.
men's
Yeah.
race.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. When by the time the juniors get on the boats, whatever oars are on there, at practice, if they want to change out an oar, they can do that. But during race day, that boat's on the beach. You get on, you get what you get, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You get what you get.
Get what you get.
Well, ladies, I just want to say thank you. Let me. I want to see that. Let's show everybody your pictures of your cruise because those are really.
Where's the audacious
Audacious
one?
is right there.
That's not a good one.
Yeah, but she can get a close
Yeah.
up.
Actually, I think I might have that picture. Just hold it up. So what cruise?
That's affirmative action.
That's a first. So that is the first
The first women's
the
crew.
very first women's crew
Well,
In
in the women's
the women's
race.
in the
division.
Friday women's. When you finally
Right.
got your Friday slot.
Right.
All right, hold that up. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so people can.
That is not the very first crew that rowed against the men.
Right. This is not the crew that rowed against the men, but this is the very first Friday of Fiesta when they got their own time slot. Who's that? Scuttling. Is that Joe Belbo?
Gino Mondello.
Gino Mondello.
Gino Mondello.
Gino Mondello.
He rode with affirmative action.
And Sammy Skull was the
And
cox.
Yeah.
Sammy Skull's the coxman. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And that one the one over here is
I'm going to put that one closer to you so we can get a good close up. Right, Nana? Yeah.
So this is, hold it up straight on. There you go. So that's Audacious. That's the crew that holds the most sailboat wins, men and women, in Fiesta history. That's amazing. All right. Well, ladies, again, I just want to say thank you for all that you did for women rowing. I mean, it's awesome. I really, really hope that the program continues. I hope that somebody gets into the schools and makes this a sport because, like you said, you know, a couple of years ago we didn't have a junior boys race, and it's a shame. If the younger generation doesn't step up to the plate and keep these traditions, it's gone.
Right.
You know, and
The
we
fight
all
will
look
be
forward
lost.
to Fiesta weekend. The races, what's a bigger, more, well, the big event is the Rosary and the procession on Sunday. But these races draw so much excitement and so much joy to so many people. You know, it's something that really needs to continue. So, ladies, I really thank you for all you do.
Thank you to Good Morning Gloucester for all your support, too.
Absolutely. Anything Gloucester, we love. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.